Okay, so today I'm on the Heybike Alpha. So this is an e-bike with a powerful 500 watt mid-drive motor. Also comes with a torque sensor and a top speed of up to 28 miles per hour using pedal assist. And this bike has a normal price of $1,699, but right now at the time of this video, it is on sale for $1,599. Now, if you are new to mid-drive motors, basically these sit in the middle of the frame of the bike right there at the bottom. And this is different from the traditional rear hub motor that sits in the rear wheel of the bike. And so the placement of the motor along with all of the other mechanics allows this motor to really power the drivetrain of this bike to give it that 105 Newton meters of torque. And so all of this allows this bike to be a really good bike to ride on road, but also going off-road like I am now. So going downhill, of course, you're not really taking advantage of the motor, but what I'm about to do is turn around and go right back up that hill I just came down, and it's a pretty steep hill. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start giving it some power here, and using the 5 levels of pedal assist, you're able to get up a hill like this. And I'm working a little bit, but not too much, and boom, we are already up this hill with no problem. And now I'm gonna go back down, but yeah, that's pretty fun, and especially with the all-terrain tires that this bike does have, so gives it some really good grip on these type of surfaces, grass, mud, whatever you want to ride on. And also the torque sensor allows the pedaling to be very responsive. So as soon as I start pedaling, that torque sensor kicks in. You don't really see that much of a delay versus a traditional cadence sensor, or even just like a regular rear hub motor where you might have a second or so in delay. But before we talk more about the performance, let's talk a little bit about the design. So this bike does come in 2 different colors. So you have black and also the white that I have, and also 2 different design languages. So you have the step through design, which I have, which allows you just to swing your leg in between the middle of the bike, and then now you can easily get on and off, where the step through design version of this has a little bar at the top where you have to swing your leg over. And then looking around the rest of the bike, you do have a placement for like a water bottle holder, or also like a bike lock. And then also you do get front and rear plastic fenders. You have a really nice and big Heybike signature headlight on the front. So this LED headlight, very bright. And also you do have built-in turn signals in that headlight, along with the built-in turn signals in the brake light on the back. So it's nice having those turn signals, but they don't make any noise when you do have them activated, which I always like to see. But you do get some turn signals indicators on the big and nice colorful display here on this bike. And this screen will be showing you your speed, your distance, and all of that relevant stuff when you are riding around. And it's very nice and easily readable in direct sunlight. And at the bottom of the display, you do have a USB-C port, so you can connect your phone if you have it mounted on your handlebars to it to be able to give it a charge. And then on the left-hand side of the handlebars, you do have the controls for not only the display, but the rest of the bike. And also you do have a button for the electronic horn. And then on the right-hand side, you do have a half twist throttle along with the controls for the Shimano Atlas 8-speed shifter. And Heybike did a good job at the cable management up front, and also you do have some integrated cables there to help keep things protected. And I like the fact that Heybike did add some color to the rims of the wheels, so it adds a little extra dash of style to this bike. Now you also do get an integrated rear rack with this bike, and I like the fact that they also included these elastic straps here, so you can strap down your jacket or your bag or whatever else you want to carry on the rack. Oh, and the elastic bands on this rear rack are removable too, so if you don't want them, you can take them off. And the total weight capacity that this bike can handle is up to 400 pounds, but that's including the rider and also whatever you're carrying on the rear rack. And then the bike itself does weigh 71.6 pounds, and it's an aluminum alloy frame. And overall, the weight is kind of like right there in the middle when it comes to e-bikes. Not super heavy, not super light. But the good thing about this mid-drive motor is that when I'm riding around like this, the weight of the bike doesn't really bother me, because it's just really helping to push this bike along. Okay, so now let's jump into my speed test for this bike. First test, we'll be using the pedal assist only. So let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, boom. All righty. Very natural, nice start with the torque sensor on this thing. Very smooth pedaling, but we're already at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 miles per hour. According to the bike's display, 23, 24, 25. GPS app on my phone is like 3 or 4 miles per hour behind, but we hit 28 miles per hour on the bike's display. And you can tell I'm not trying that hard at all. And we are showing 24, 25 miles per hour on my GPS app. So let's go ahead and test out these hydraulic disc brakes. Very nice and smooth, good brakes. Okay, so now for the throttle only test. But the way Heybike has this bike set up, because of the mid-drive motor, you can't just twist on the throttle and start from a dead stop. As you can see, I'm not going anywhere. You do have to give it like 1 or 2 rotations with pedaling to be able to enable the throttle. And this is set up this way to help protect the mid-drive motor with all the torque and things that it has going on with it. So just be aware of that. So anyway, 3, 2, 1, boom. And a couple pedals. And now I'm engaging the throttle. And this is going to definitely be a slower increase in speed compared to the pedal assist. We are at 13, 14, 15 miles per hour, 16, 17, and all right, we hit 18 here with the bike's display. GPS app on my phone is showing around 16, so again, a couple miles per hour behind. But yeah, it looks like around 18, sometimes up to like 19 miles per hour I've been able to get up with the throttle only here. So this is definitely not one of those bikes that is set up for you to cruise around like a motorcycle or anything. Pedal assist is definitely going to be the preferred way to use this bike, but because of the torque sensor and that mid-drive motor, I actually really enjoy pedaling on this bike. Oh, and when you are using the throttle, the top speed that you can get is dependent on which gear that you are in. So when you are in the 8th gear, that will allow you to get up to 20 miles per hour, and then as you shift down from there, that will lower that top speed. And oh, also when you are shifting gears, always make sure you let go of the throttle or either stop pedaling because of the torque, because that can cause some unnecessary wear and tear on the gear. So again, release that throttle, shift the gears, and then go back to using the throttle. Okay, so now for my hill test, it might be hard to see from here, but this is a little bit of a steep hill here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with just using the throttle only. So let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, boom. And again, I have to give it like one pedal, and now I'm just relying on the throttle. So this is going to be a very slow speed, just using throttle. As I mentioned in the speed test, this really isn't something that it is like a throttle first e-bike. But once I start pedaling and just adding my power to this pedal assist kicks in with this torque sensor and this motor that does have 105 Newton meters of torque. I am getting up this hill very easy. I'm not even trying right now. So if I was in a hurry, I could have easily got up that hill a lot faster just by pedaling a lot more. And so yeah, again, I'm one of those people who really does love my throttle first e-bikes, but I really do appreciate and like this pedal focus forward e-bike because it does force me to work and use my legs more, which is always going to be good exercise. But the best thing is that it doesn't feel like a lot of work. And just testing out these hydraulic disc brakes again at this stop sign. Very nice. And now I'm just going to go over some of this cobblestone here and test out this front suspension. So no rear suspension on this thing, no suspension seat post, just this front suspension fork that can be locked out if you do want to stiffen it up to get, better, faster speeds. But I usually ride unlock, and it does a decent job, especially with these 26 by 4-inch fat tires that give you that cushion going over bumps like that. And just getting a little down and dirty here in the grass here. This bike handles really well going over different types of terrain, switching from a paved path to grass with dips and stuff. This thing feels good. Now, with all of this being said, I still would like to see maybe at least a suspension seat post, but I understand they don't advertise this like an off-road bike, so I understand that. But getting a suspension seat post is something that's very easy, and it's not that expensive, so you can go to any type of third-party site and get that, and that will definitely make this ride even more comfortable than what it is. And the seat itself is cushy, so it feels really comfortable to ride on, nice and wide for my big old butt, so it's been comfortable to ride for many miles. And so one thing I will tell you is just be aware that when you do have the pedals at their lowest, they are susceptible to hitting the ground and stuff. So when you are maybe just kind of riding over different types of terrain that might be a little bit of bumpy and stuff, you might just want to keep the pedals a little bit even. Yeah, we're moving, baby. So as soon as I just give this thing just a little bit of boost, man, this thing just wants to take off and want to get going. So that's what you get with a mid-drive motor that is a smaller wattage than a rear hub motor typically, but don't let the 500 watts fool you. You can still get to a very fast speed. Now this Alpha does have a removable battery, so just use one of the two keys that comes with it, and then you do have this protective plate that comes off first, and then now you'll be able to drop out the battery, and now you can take the battery inside and charge it, or you can always just leave the battery inside of the bike because you do have a dedicated charging port on the bike itself. Now the battery capacity comes in at 680 watt hours, so that should give you around up to 60 miles as far as range, but that's going at the lowest pedal assist setting and stuff, and not really going that fast towards the top end 28 miles per hour. But all the other factors as far as like weight and how hard you're riding and the terrain and how many hills you're going up does factor into the range. But for me, in my first kind of initial test of just trying to drain the battery down, I was able to get around like 37, 38 miles out of it. But again, I am going up a lot of hills and stuff, so if you are just cruising around on mostly flat land and stuff, of course your range will be higher, but it all depends on how you're riding. All right, it's very windy today, but anyway, one thing I've noticed with the battery percentage on the display when I've been riding around is that it does go up and down down pretty drastically. So you can turn on the bike and it can show 100%, but when you start riding around, even at like pedal assist level 3, that percentage can drop down to like 40% or so and then go back up and stuff. But I expect that a little bit, but with this bike, it does happen a little bit more drastically. So I will recommend going by the voltage instead of the battery percentage on the display, and you can just hit the mode button a couple of times to be able to show the voltage here on the display. All right, so look, now I'm riding directly in this very strong headwind that I have here. So the wind is really kicking up, but I'm in pedal assist level 3 and I'm just eating through this wind like butter. So that's the advantage of having this mid-drive motor. And so look, at the end of the day, as long as you know this isn't a throttle first e-bike, this is going to be pedal forward, I think you're going to get a really good solid bike when it comes to the design, the performance, build quality. And so I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video that'll take you to Heybike's website so you can pick up this bike for yourself. But also let me know what you think about this bike down in the comments below. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.